Stop focusing more on the problem than the promise. Go get your own review on God instead of trying to read up on everybody else's experience. And stop being scary. Those are the 3 points we are about to dissect right now, because God just blessed me and I feel like it'll bless y'all. If I don't post a full video on TikTok, it's going to be on my YouTube. That's where I post all of my Bible studies. The link is in my bio. In Numbers chapter 13, God told Moses to send out an explorer from each of the 12 tribes to go explore the land of Canaan that he was giving the Israelites. God wanted to get the promised land that God promised the Israelites. He told Moses to go send out one explorer from each of the 12 tribes to go see what condition it was in. How is it in good or bad condition? Who are there? All types of stuff. Amen. So they went to go explore their land. They came back with a report. They said, oh, they got grapes the size of our heads. It's flowing in milk and honey over here. It's beautiful over here, all types of stuff. But they was like, but it's some people over there that look like giants. I don't think we can defeat them. Compared to them, we look like grasshoppers. And my boy Caleb was like, hold on, what y'all talking about? Slow down, amen. We got God on our side. We can surely conquer this. But they went to go tell the rest of the Israelites, like, yeah, we already defeated y'all. Like, we can't do this and this, that, and the third. But Caleb was still saying, yes, we can. And they actually wanted to stone Caleb for speaking the fact that God already promised them that they gonna have that land. And he was trying to speak like, oh, yo, we can do this. But they wanted to stone him. So the first point that we're going to analyze today is the fact that stop focusing more on the problem than the promise. See, it reminded me when I had a job interview and when I finally get the job and we started touring and they started telling you everything you got to do. You got to do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. And in my head, I'd be like, oh my gosh, I cannot do all of this. This is too much. I ain't going to be able to remember all of this. But I've learned as I matured that each time you get a job and they start telling you all this stuff, at first it looks bigger than you. But then once you get in flow state and you get inside of it, you be like, oh, this ain't nothing. And you actually find ways to make it more efficient for you than the people who even gave you the tour told you to do. You just be like, oh, yeah, I got this. At first, it seemed like it was a giant. Now, it don't seem that big because I'm in it and I actually learned how to work it and let it work for me. So the main problem is God told you you're going to be the first person in your family to be a millionaire. God told you you're going to be the first person in your family to have a successful marriage. God told you you're going to be the first person in your family to graduate. And the only thing you telling God is, God, I can't do this because I ain't got no money to pay for college. God, I can't go back to school because I got to find a babysitter for my kids. God, I can't buy this house because of my credit. I can't do this because it is. I can't do this. You too busy focused on the problem instead of God. And one thing I learned, that whatever you seek, you're going to find. So if all you seeking is problems, you're going to find them. And all you seeking is God, you're going to find a God in everything. And you need to be seeking God to give you the strategy, the wisdom on how he wants you to approach it. Because if God said this is your promise, all you got to do is let me fight your battles. God ain't even say this your promise, go fight for yourself. God told you be still and let me fight your battles. And in Exodus, what was it, chapter 14, verse 14, he said, let me fight your battles. So we be so scary, like God said, hey, this on your own. You got it, but you out there on your own. You got to learn how to do this on your own. God only said, you going to do this with me. AKA, I'm going to send you people who can help you defeat whatever it is you feel like standing in the way of you in a promise. AKA, I am in partnership with you. So if you just listen to my instructions and let my word be a lamp to your feet, anything that's standing in the way of the promise that I promised you has now become an enemy of me. And you know that God is a God that is 100 track record. He say, I am the great I am. God is the great I am. So therefore, there is nothing that is bigger than God, because everything is at the feet of my God. Amen. So stop focusing on the problem and start focusing on more of the promise. So when you start focusing on the promise, you will get in there. You will be like, oh, I thought this was bigger than me. Oh, I thought I wasn't going to be able to go back to school, but whole time I'm online and my kids know to be quiet because I discipline them. So everything working out. Oh, I thought I wasn't going to be able to pay for this, but somehow God showed me about a loan that I qualify for or a grant that I qualify for. Stop focusing on the problem and start focusing on the promise. Point number 2, go get your own opinion. See, everybody went to go, the people in the 12 tribes went to go explore the land of Canaan to see how it is. But they came back, some of them came back defeated, but Caleb came back like, oh, we can conquer this. Stop letting everybody else get in your ear about whatever it is that God promised you. So you want to start a business, but they telling you, oh, that ain't going to work. You ain't going to be able to make that successful. You want to go to this job. Oh, I wouldn't work there if I was you. You want to go to this school, or I wouldn't do that. Oh, I wouldn't take up that major. Mind you, they giving you a report based off of their perspective. So what if only thing they were seeing was the problem instead of the promise? So if all they were seeing was the problem instead of the promise, they never got to the promise. So they trying to put a bug in your ear that, based off of their experience, that's going to be the same experience that you see. But what if the whole time you are the Caleb? What if what they seen as a giant was a grasshopper to you? And all they had to do, all the Israelites had to do was come together, because what if what Caleb seen was a grasshopper to him? But what if when they all got to the land, some stuff looked like a grasshopper to them, some stuff looked like a giant to them? So what if they said, oh, we're going to take this over here because these grasshoppers to us, and we're going to take this over here because these grasshoppers to us? And now they done defeated the giant because everybody just used their gifts that God granted them. So instead of letting somebody else put a bug in your ear on what God promised you, on what you know in your heart God told you, don't let nobody put a bug in your ear, because what's a giant to them might be a grasshopper to you based on your gifts. And not just based on your gifts, but based on your perspective. Because if God told you that this is your promise, that means it's already yours. All you got to do is be obedient. And I'm going to say it again, the great thing about our God is the fact that he going to tell you that you got to fight for it. But the thing about it is, he also told you that he going to fight for you. So you going to be there fighting, but he going to be the one telling you what to do, how to do it, and removing stuff out your way. Amen. Now, what's the third point? Okay, what was the third point? I'm a little hot. What was the third point, y'all? Stop being scary. Stop being scary. The Israelites started saying, oh, we should have just stayed in bondage. So they rather stay in bondage than fight for something that's flowing in milk and honey that God promised them. A lot of times, y'all, we be seeing our giant and we be like, nah, I'd rather stay at this job. I can't do this. Nah, I'd rather stay at this level. I don't want to be promoted because I can't do that. That's bigger than me. Now, I can't go here. I can't do this. That's bigger than me. But here's the thing about it, though. Once you get in stuff, you start realizing that it ain't bigger than you at all. That's just like, for instance, that's just like if God tell you it's $7 billion in his bucket. It's yours. Anything that get in the way of you getting it, I'm gonna destroy it because it's yours. It's not about you taking stuff. It's about you taking what you paid for, what's yours, what I assigned to you. All you got to do is go defeat the person that's standing over because they think it's theirs. You know how ghetto and gangster you gonna get over your $7 billion? It's just like when somebody can drag your name through the mud all they want. But when somebody starts talking about your kids, your mama, your siblings, your favorite cousin, your favorite aunt, you go to war over them trying to take the image that God gave your folks and try to drag it through the mud. And I commend you for that, because I'm going to be honest. He's still proning me. So if somebody talk about my siblings or my mother, they're going to understand why I still need Jesus. Amen. But the thing about it is, I commend your passion, but you need to get the same way. You need to get that rowdy about the gifts, about the promise that God gave you. Because you paid for that promise. You paid for that gift with your pain, with your time, with that betrayal that everybody did, with being excluded and undermined and undervalued. You already paid for it. I don't know about y'all, but I'm straight from the trenches. Everything I paid for, I want all of me. I ain't even gonna lie. For some stuff, I hope y'all don't crucify me for this, but for some stuff, if I pay for it, God ain't gotta tell me to go get it. I am going to go get it. I paid for it. I want what's me. You already paid for that with your time, with your pay. You paid for this already. Why are you scared of something that you paid for? So either the two things is, God didn't tell you that that's yours, so you don't want to go fight for it, or you scared. And if God did not give you the spirit of fear. What is it? 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7. He didn't give you the spirit of fear, but a power of love and a sound mind. I probably quoted it wrong, or I probably said the wrong verse number, but God did not give you the spirit of fear. I'm not saying fear won't show up. All I'm saying is don't operate out of fear. Fear tell you I can't do this, so I'm going to stand back. But your God said that I'm going to fight for you. So fear going to be saying you can't do it, so operating out of fear will be, I'm not going to do it. Operating out of God is, I'm going to do it with this fear. And whatever show up, I'm going to take it out. See, when you get inside of stuff, just think about it. The giant is not even about the giant. Defeating the giant is not about the giant. Defeating the giant is letting you know how much energy and capacity and what it's going to take to maintain it. Once you defeat the giant, you in it. And after you defeat the giant, it ain't no reason to be scared. Because if a giant show up after you done got in it, after you done been in that job, that career, that business for that long, and then a new giant show up, if you could defeat a giant when you was outside of the club, Trust and assured that God gonna lead you. God, you're gonna be able to defeat that giant while you're actually in it, because you're gonna take dominion over, because you're gonna be like, hold up now. Now, before I was here, I took you out. But now that I'm here, this is my territory. God told me to take dominion over all of this. God told me to subdue all of this. Amen. So while I'm inside of this, ain't nothing come to destroy me. So if a giant show up, if I could take it out when I went in it, you best believe I'm going to take it out while I'm in it. Because God gave me dominion over this. And if I've been in it this long, I know exactly what to do. So I'm not scared of no giant. And I know if I don't know what to do, I know who know what to do. So I'm going to go straight to my God, because it don't change. The person who helping me fight my battles don't change just because I'm inside of it. So when I'm inside of it, the same God who helped me fight my battles when I was on the outside is going to be the same God who's going to help me fight when a giant show up when I'm inside. Because a lot of times we think when we get in something, the giants don't show up. No, the devil get a little bit more mad. Okay? Amen. He get a little bit more mad. What did we learn, class? I'm hot, y'all. I gotta turn my air off. I'm a little hot. I hope that helped y'all. It helped me when I was in there. I really hope that helped y'all. But y'all just go get your own opinion. If you want to go to a school, somebody told you don't go to that school, but in your heart, you know God calling you, go. You want to go for a career, and God, and some people say you ain't gonna make no money, but you know God called you, go. And if you got a giant standing at your door, let me say, if somebody came to your house and said get out, and they got a pew pew, mind you, you just paid all your rent and your bills. That is your giant. Are you gonna allow them to? Or you gonna say, oh, I just worked? Oh, okay, thought so. Love you. Talk to you.